Welcome to another edition of MCAT Strategy. Today we will be discussing how to maximize your performance on test day. And this is very important because you have studied hard for this exam, so you want to perform at your very best on the actual test right day. The first and most important piece of advice is to expect the unexpected. For most test writers, there will be something unexpected that occurs during the exam. One of the most common problems that can arise are unexpected disturbances in the testing environment, such as people coughing, or people typing loudly, or people asking questions to the proctor right beside you. There could be surprises on the actual exam. Maybe the questions that you get are more difficult than you anticipated. There could also be other problems with the testing environment, such as it being too cold or too hot in the testing room. A common complaint of first-time writers is people typing too loudly. Often when you are trying to do your verbal reasoning section, other people will be doing the writing sample, and you will have to endure the sound of typing on keyboards while you are writing. So that is why it is important to prepare in a proper environment so that you are able to focus through the typing and other disturbances. On my test date, there just happened to be construction outside the building, and the sound of loud machinery could be heard throughout the test room, and that was an unexpected disturbance. And on top of that, I had some technical problems because my computer kept freezing repeatedly. So things like that, if you are not prepared for them, or if you let them rattle you, will affect your performance. So my most important piece of advice is to be mentally prepared to face anything that might arise during the exam. Hopefully you have an ideal testing environment and everything goes smoothly, but that usually isn't the case, so be prepared and be ready to deal with anything that may come up. Remember to remain calm at all costs. The moment you panic or start to get frustrated, your performance will start to suffer and your score will start to decrease. During your practice exams, make sure you practice staying focused when writing with distractions around you. Practice in a computer lab or in a public area that's not too loud, and that will give you some distractions to deal with so that you can practice focusing through it all. From my personal experience, the construction was loud enough to be really disruptive, and a lot of people asked for the construction ear protectors 10 minutes in, and I could tell that they were getting frustrated because you could probably still hear the construction through the ear muffs, and they kept fidgeting with it. So those people let an outside distraction start to affect their test writing. I knew the exam was too important to let distractions affect me, so I took a deep breath and I focused as hard as I could. And after a couple minutes, I became so absorbed in the exam that I didn't even notice the construction noise. Make sure that you read the MCAT Essentials PDF that is available on the AAMC website. A lot of people neglect to read this and go over the testing procedures for the day. Knowing the procedures and knowing what the exam will be like ahead of time is important because it will help to give you self-confidence going into the exam. It will also give you useful information so that you can prepare for the test right accordingly. For example, the only noise control you have available to you are the bulky construction earmuffs. Even then, the noise tends to get through if it is loud enough. And you are not allowed to bring any earplugs of your own, which surprised some people on the day that I actually wrote. Additionally, there are no timers or watches that are allowed to be in the test room with you, so make sure that you practice keeping time with just the countdown timer that is provided for you on the test screen. My final piece of advice is to do your research and ask others about what the test day is like. You can ask people who you know who have written the MCAT exam, or you can go on the various pre-med forums and do a search of the threads that are available there. Make sure you ask others if their test day went according to what they expected, and ask if anything surprised them, like if there were any disturbances or problems with the testing environment. So one thing that I learned is that everyone finishes the section at different times, so people will be getting up and leaving or coming back into the room at varying times. So don't let that throw you off if people are getting up while you are still writing, or if people are just sitting down and starting a section ahead of you, because everyone starts the test at a different time as well, because they call you in one at a time, and the order in which you are called seems to be random and not first come, first serve. Again, as I mentioned before, there will be the sound of people typing on their keyboards while you are doing your verbal reasoning section, so that's something that a lot of people don't expect, but is a common occurrence, and it will be something that you will need to deal with. Another useful piece of advice is that breaks are not strictly timed. You can end your break early, or you can take a few minutes longer if you would like. So you don't need to worry about being late coming back to the test if you happen to take more than 10 minutes on your break. So that's all for this video. Any suggestions, comments, or discussion is welcome. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, keep on practicing. This is MCAT Strategy, logging off.